Alright guys, here we're going to talk about Season 5, Episode 27 of The Twilight Zone.
Okay.
So this episode is about a man who is a former naval something or other who then took everything he knows into that made a miniature...
It's ship shop.
Yeah, miniature...
Ship shape, in a matter of speaking. Yeah.
Miniature boats, and he's annoying, but I like his character.
Yeah, he's chewing the scenery.
Actually, I like how it's playing him, I guess. The man is clearly a good actor.
It's theatrical.
He has sound issues where he is not clear how loud he is, and then when someone makes a tiny comment, he freaks out, and it blows his whole mind in the Twilight Zone.
Okay, that's a pretty solid synopsis. I was like... I was going to say this is a be careful what you wish for story, but it's like two be careful what you wish for stories, and I don't like that. It's weird to me. Did you like this episode before I get too much farther into it?
It felt very middle of the road to me. I liked the actor a lot. I thought he was bringing a lot to this role, and his voice was really nice. I feel like he's from something I'm familiar with, but I didn't look it up because I never do.
Over matter. Yeah. And they call him out for being fat, and I'm like, damn, son.
Yeah, I feel like at that time you were either skinny or that size.
Yeah.
And that was average.
I feel like he's a normal fat man from that time.
That's what I mean.
But not so fat that would be his only thing.
There really
you
weren't.
Wouldn't say it's the fat guy. You'd be like, it's the loud guy, it's the bald guy, it's the whatever.
We
guy.
Perfected fatness in this year's.
Right.
Then they didn't know what. Then it was oh, you're totally normal dude.
They said he was 220. I'm like, that's not even fat. You need to be so fat that your body can't figure out where to put things anymore.
If they're not cutting holes in walls to pull you out, you're not American fat.
You're not exactly fat, right?
No.
Your body has to start getting creative. Where's the fat go?
If they don't offer you some sort of a deal to be a spokesman for the heart attack grill, you're not that fat.
I lost the weight and you can too.
Well, it's the opposite. Keep eating until you die.
Yeah.
And I think somebody did. Downer. But this episode, I loved...
So, he's really loud.
Yes.
And everyone's like, he sucks, he's so loud. Then loud stuff starts to get to him.
But not loud stuff. Stuff becomes loud.
Any sound,
comically,
right?
except for the booming sound of his own voice. Doesn't affect him.
I know, which is weird. He becomes super sensitive to sound, right?
Yeah.
So that's a weird, haha, just desserts. What if you didn't like sound, even the slightest sound?
Yeah.
Haha. But then we keep rotating around the thing, and then he's like, I'll tune it out, and he ends up tuning out all the sound, including his beloved sounds that he likes.
Yes.
And
he did like some
crazy.
Horrible sounds.
Yeah, he would put on
this is the sound of war.
This is an audio recording of the USS whatever under fire from the Japanese. He's doing this long thing.
When she broke that record, though, aside from the fact that it shattered to pieces into his face, I was like, oh, 1 out of 100, and you broke one?
Well, now
she's getting 5 across.
Now there's
the face.
98.
I know.
See, we've gone down the list.
It's horrible.
I
thought when he pulled the second record out, he's like, fortunately, I keep 2.
Don't worry. Yes. So when everything's moving because of the sound, at first I'm like, I like that, because now we're doing a cool thing where the Twilight Zone doesn't usually do that. There's also a scene that it's cutting to a new place, and it starts with the doctor's little flashlighty thing looking into his ear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that's actually cinematic. That's not just television-y flat diorama style shots or whatever.
No, yeah.
So I was okay, cool. But it goes so over the top. The whole apartment's moving in this comical way where I'm like, we get it. It's the
when it was just that steering wheel or whatever on the wall that was moving, I was like, okay, because the base is up against the wall. That could happen.
And he keeps turning knobs, and he's like, "What's going on? It's not working." And then we, as the audience, see as stuff starting to react, and they do it a little, but he builds the little model ships, so something could be delicate and maybe move and break, and you're like, oh, okay.
The sail or the flag on the boat,
or it's like a ship in a bottle, and something happens, it falls off and breaks, and he goes I didn't hear that. Oh no, and something happens, right? But no, everything's swaying. It's
statues that I'm like, how much must that weigh?
It's crazy. Stuff's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Which is that's because that's how loud it is. I'm like, things don't even get that loud. Should have just been
a tiny fern on the counter or on the speaker itself. Something that would have been okay, yes. Something that small could clearly be vibrating and gyrating. And then yes, if it did knock something over and shatter, and he noticed the shatter, not the noise, that would totally equate.
That would totally segue
there was so much
into
happening.
Him shattering stuff manually and then screaming. I like to go the opposite of your point earlier. We as the audience only hear him screaming.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like when he, when like he was so noise sensitive, he could still scream and yell. Right? So
at the top of his lungs. And
it's this weird like thing. So I'm
broken.
like, okay, that's cool. Yes. Mind over matter. I want that little clip to like clip out of him screaming.
He had a great look to him. He's like a giant turtle man. Like how his face like doing his thing.
Turtle. Okay.
They're throwing darts at his pictures, and I'm like, that seems weird. And they're not like instantly removing the darts. I'm like, if he turned the corner and there's a dart there, how do you explain that? You can't.
No, there's a bunch of holes then in his picture, and that's like in the main hall. This is back where he works in his stupid thing where he runs in and says.
A lot of little goofy things like that. And just how the wife and the outburst, I've never liked you, I've just tolerated you. You're like a rich, like, model boat mogul. I feel like you had your choice. You could do whatever you want. And this, you're in this relationship that you're forced into somehow.
And we find out his whole, like, thing with noise is, like, PTSD from his upbringing, my mother, and with his fatness. Because he's like, I had to eat your brownie and go upstairs and don't make noise, and now I make all the noise I want. I eat all the cookies I want. And he's going crazy and stuff. Like, that's awesome. But then it becomes this, like, goofy, like, whatever, right?
Like, couldn't you just make soft cookies? Like, I don't understand why this decision
That's dumb, too, because he has to be, because that should be, like, I want to eat celery and carrots and good food. And she made me eat soft brownies or something weird.
Would have made a little bit more sense,
It doesn't have to make sense.
Snatch the carrot from my mouth and shove the brownie in there.
Only quiet foods.
Duncan Hines.
That's like, they locked me in a room and they had to feed me flat foods they could put under the door. I only ate pizza and toast and pancakes for years. Like, what?
I was already a man.
So I was a man.
This episode's okay.
Okay, yeah, right. Like, it's fun. What I'm getting at is that they lay groundwork down where there was interesting like stuff potentially. But the whole, I feel like it's a weird 2 bites at the apple of don't be careful what you wish for. It's not. We eventually get back around to it, but the whole middle and like you said, like it's totally in his head. So like, for this to be effective, I have to feel like now it's stuck that way forever, right? Yeah. But I feel like earlier the same day he was able to like do it a different way, and then the day before it was a different thing. So so tomorrow he'll figure it out, and he'll be able to hear his war records again, right? Like who cares? It's not.
This episode had some of the best set dressing though of like any episode of recent times. Yeah. Like because he had like his office, which was like designed to look like a boat, and it had like the boaty edge. And you open the window, and you did shots where you could see the city and stuff. Yes. Again, some of the cool shots you're talking about. Yeah. But then like there was a full on like building with like a weird old school typewriter that was probably the most futuristic typewriter of the time. The model ships, the statues of his apartment, all that stuff. Like there were multiple locations that were fully furnished and not your usual Twilight Zone of like it's a white hallway and a room with one desk. Like this was like a legit ass set.
Like the desk has the 1 or 2 things on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was like a movie that was like shooting with these things and they were like, oh, we'll just slide right in there because it felt like a real set dressed location.
Interesting, I agree. Yeah. It had a certain like. That's why this is not like a trash thing.
Yeah, no, it has
stuff. Some cool. They were trying to do a cool thing. I just think that the overall like Twilight Zone-y aspect. Because I'm not like, what if I
had these rules that were unclear on things that kept affecting me in different ways every other day.
Yeah, like I better be careful and not try to get around a weird thing that happens to me to kind of pay me back for who I am, and then I mind over matter it, but then I'm too mind over matter it, and then now I'm trapped, I guess, until I figure it out. It's weird.
Well, see, like, because they're making the fat joke inside the show, so he's got a lot of matter, so he had to use so much mind that it fucked his shit
I was
up.
working on a joke about that. I like that. Yes. Yeah. Too much matter, not enough mind. Yes. Yeah. No, the scene where his wife is like chewing him out and then it's like, I've got it! And he does the whole, like, it's great.
She was leaving him anyway. He had no reason to practice, learn, or do any of that. She, like, he could have just been like, okay, go now. And she would have left his life forever. He would have never heard her again.
Yeah. But he had to exercise this new superpower that he has. Oh, yeah, no, so like, in my mind, I don't feel like, oh, he's trapped like that forever. But Rod Serling, swoops in at the end to say, oh, he's now at the local insane asylum.
Yeah.
And he acts like he can't hear anything. There's nothing medically wrong with him. And they're all like, oh, this sad guy is crazy. But he's convinced. The Twilight Zone.
I wonder that too, and they're like, there's nothing medically wrong with him. I'm like, isn't their whole test like, okay, when you hear the beep, lift your hand or whatever. Yeah. And if you were deaf, you wouldn't lift your hand. If you're mentally deaf, you wouldn't lift your hand. So like,
I feel like there's neurological things you can go deaf or whatever.
Rod Serling doesn't say medically
wrong.
In the 60s.
I did that, yeah.
Like they'd sneak up behind you with a paper bag and pop it, and you wouldn't flinch at all. They'd be like,
deaf.
He's deaf.
Exactly. No, and even today I'm saying, like there's ways you could be deaf where they're like, we can't tell if he's really like, you can have like weird hysterical blindness where your eyes work fine, your brain works fine, but you can't see.
Yeah, he saw something so horrible.
Oh, he doesn't want to see anymore.
Hank Hill walked in on his parents doing it, and now he's blind.
I hate movies so much. Ooh. Okay.
All right, guys, that's this episode of Twilight Zone. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching Just Daggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.